Sexual individuality. We're here.
I love it. Hi.
Crap from the 80s. We're back again to talk about the 90s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is there a different logo at Crep from the 90s? Is there
We do.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
we do
there's like
have
a
one. That
Saved by
Zach
the
made for
Bell
us.
type of logo?
Zach made one for us. So
yeah,
it's
so that you saw that.
yeah. I didn't think about that one. Yeah. So I guess you saw that. Normally I wouldn't be doing that.
You suggested it.
I know.
I didn't.
I know. I suggested this because, so this episode is our favorite '90s horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
And if people out there, people who watch the show know me, you're like, what, Chris?
You hate the 90s.
Yes, you are not a fan of the '90s, and that is true. But within the '90s, there are things that I like. And even love, and that's what I'm going to be talking about. That's some of that is what I'm going to be talking about. The '90s horror that I love, not like. I didn't pick out any of the ones that I like. So there's still stuff on the shelves that are from the '90s that are. I like it enough to own it, but it's not something that I like. Man, I adore this movie.
Yeah. Yep. Same.
And he has no problem with the 90s. He loves a lot of stuff from the 90s. So his list was relatively easy, I assume, to pick
It was
out.
yeah. My problem is, and I'm sure when you talk through your list, I forgot a lot. Like, you brought up the idea, and I was like trying to do it while I'm like feeding my kid dinner, and I'm like, what is on? Like what's some of it's memory.
Forward.
I had to look up a list, so we'll see. I'm sure I missed a bunch of shit that I want to put on there, but anyway.
And the reason that I wanted to do it was because so since the late 80s, I've been saving my ticket stubs from the movie theater.
Yeah.
Some are lost, some are destroyed. Even some of these look pretty terrible. That's because they've gone through different moves, different weather. Things got damp, things got burnt.
Maybe
in
put
some
them in
cases.
a box.
Yeah, I know. They were in, and this is just some of them. I have them in like fucking like little baggies now.
Yeah.
I used to just keep them in cups.
I have them like folders,
Still in
cups.
cups.
Like Trapper Keeper, like binders that are scattered.
And this isn't the entire list, because even going through them, I was like, oh, but I saw this. Where's this ticket?
Yeah.
It must have just gotten lost, destroyed. It just, but I was like, there are some gems from the 90s, horror-wise, that I absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
And so I figured that would be a fun thing to talk about,
They're gonna love it.
Yes.
They do.
Oh, they will. I mean, there's not many people out there are as stubborn as I am when it comes to the 90s.
Most people,
love the
90s are in a resurgence right now for some very weird reason. But anyway, we're here to talk about it. So,
I mean, if listen, if you have
this could have been their first time.
watched the channel, I know. So, in general, I have never been a fan of the 90s, even when I was living in the 90s. What I say is, I personally had a great time growing up in the 90s. It was a very awesome, interesting, explosive time for me as an individual.
Yeah.
Things were happening, and it was an imaginative and creative time, for sure. It's when Low Budget Pictures got started, and we...
I think you love the 90s. You just don't have the same love for the pop culture
The pop
as you
culture,
do
yeah.
for 80s.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, like, your whole life, like, there's so many things we could talk about in the 90s that shaped us.
Oh, yeah.
Are just mind-blowing to think about even now. You know what I mean? Like, people we met and things we did in the 90s. So, like, yeah, you didn't like Rugrats, But like 90s were still a good time to be alive.
Pop culture wise, I did not like the 90s.
Right.
Aesthetic wise, I did not like the 90s.
No.
I feel that like the 80s sort of lived through the first bit of the 90s, starting.
Yeah.
I would say 94, 95 is really the cutoff of when things started fully like going full 90s.
Well, it's like when you went from disco to synth in what the 80s became, glam rock and all that. Like that, there's a big, I don't know when that cutoff is. 83, maybe?
Well, I mean...
The disco era.
Oh, it was before that.
Like it was like a real, we're done. Disco was dead. And 80s kind of like had a thing like that in the 90s where grunge was like, see ya. and all the weird techno shit.
I mean, I hate the music of the 90s.
Yeah.
Hate it. There's a lot of movies, there's a lot of television, the fashion I fucking loathe from the 90s. It's despicable. And thankfully I just was always a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy. Whereas I would look at somebody else and they look like a fucking dude, goth dude wearing a garbage bag, fucking with chains all over the place. Like, no thanks. No thanks. Anyway, so I do play it up, my hatred of the 90s.
Yeah. But not this episode. This is all love.
Yeah. So the 90s, I was in my teens into 20s. That was my 90s. And like I said, you know, it was a big... I started Low Budget Pictures, and we were making movies back to back, just constantly going to conventions. That's when all that started. And horror... If I loved horror in the 80s, boy, did I love horror in the 90s. I mean, it was such a huge part of my life. And so, just like the 80s, and if you haven't heard me before, our family were movie people. So we were always going to the movie theater and seeing a lot of fucking amazing films that were just happening because they were happening. It was just the time period. So from, you know, the early 80s to now, I've been constantly going to the movie theaters and seeing a lot of things. I don't know why. So around like 89, I just started putting my ticket stubs away.
I did too. I don't remember when though.
Man, I looked through some of these and I'm like, why the fuck did I see this movie? You know,
who's talking again?
No, none of that. But I mean, Clifford isn't.
Because you like Martin Short.
I love Martin Short, but man, that fucking movie's terrible.
Yeah.
But I mean, I saw stuff that I don't know why I saw it. So anyway,
I mean, I saw both City Slickers. I mean, there's so many movies I saw in the 90s. So many movies.
And another thing, I'm much more of man, I love direct to VHS films.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the SOV stuff, shot on video stuff, which I was eating up in the late 80s into the 90s and of course making. No, I'm talking about like, you know, movies from studios made specifically for video.
Right.
And I love a lot of that stuff. Much more than the mainstream stuff. I mean, so let's get
into
it. Let's jump in. I don't know if you want to go first. You said you might have way more 90s horror.
Well, I mean, I'll just start with the first one, which is Scream.
Yeah.
You know, I know he doesn't like it. He talks repeatedly about how much he hates it, but I love it. Loved it since the first one. You know, the most recent one was not great. You missed it, but you wouldn't say you missed it.
I didn't miss it.
But yeah, you know, I've seen all of them in the theaters except for that one, and maybe there's a reason why. But I don't know. Scream's great. I love Scream.
That's not
I
on
think
my
you
list.
don't like the Scream, what was created from Scream either.
No.
Which is, I don't have a
So-
lot of those things on there, but there's so many Scream copycats, and that's its own genre.
In general, I don't like the trendy, hot people from television shows thrown into horror movie thing
Right.
that was happening in the 90s.
Yeah.
Thanks to Scream.
Yes.
Every fucking major Hollywood horror movie had to be
The
that.
hottest Noxzema girl.
And I just found them repugnant. I did not like them.
Yeah.
I saw them, but I did not like them.
I like some of them. Which are
They
on the
just
list.
weren't for me. They just
Yeah.
weren't for me.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can say that was sort of good about it was a lot of fans, went to the theater to see that shit and then got sort of hooked on horror.
It kept horror going through the 90s because people were like, let's make another horror movie.
Yeah.
It's making money.
Now, I have never agreed with Scream was the reason horror,
No.
return and everything.
Yeah.
Horror never went anywhere.
I agree.
It never went anywhere, and if you were a horror fan, you fucking knew that. You were watching horror movies constantly. And I was one of those fans.
Yeah.
So I hated that whole like Scream brought horror back and blah blah blah. And I also hated the Scream is so smart and blah blah blah. I'm like, man, clearly these people have never seen a horror movie before. Because there's a lot of horror movies that came before Scream that did what Scream did. As far as I'm concerned, better.
That's a whole other
debate. I was just going to say that we could do a whole other episode about that. But I just found it smug and self-congratulatory. Like Kevin Williamson finds himself a real class act. And I was just like, yeah, how about you're trampling on the people who came before you? So, no. Anyway, those movies, yeah. That's a no-go for me. So, I'll pick
Just lost half our subscribers.
Puppet Master 3.
It's not on my list.
Oh,
But I don't dislike it. It's just not something I'm like, I love this movie.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to have a lot of direct-to-video stuff. Full Moon started in 1989.
Reign supreme.
Charlie Band had Empire Pictures before that, which gave us classics like Reanimator and everything Stuart Gordon did, Dolls, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So From Beyond, TerrorVision, the Ghoulies, Charles Band had Empire Pictures. It was awesome, and then he went direct to video with Paramount Pictures and Full Moon coming together. And starting in 1989, I mean, they just pumped out, as far as I'm concerned, hit after hit after hit.
That's bonkers.
Um,
What are the budgets on these movies?
I don't know, but this was the heyday, man. This was
I
when
know.
everything
That's
was
what
shot
I
on
mean,
film.
like-
Everything was shot in Romania.
Yeah, like
Lush.
how much money did it cost for these effects?
But
Anyway, yeah.
Puppet Master 3 is my favorite Puppet Master movie. It's pretty awesome. Directed by Dave Dakota. And I don't like this movie. I love this movie. And this is not the last Full Moon film on this list.
Not in the 90s.
Yeah. And like I said, I got a thing full of Full Moon movies that I like.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about love.
I mean, it's hard for me.
No, it's not.
Because now I gotta think about, like, I love this movie. I love Silence of the Lambs. I think at that time, I don't like true crime. Like, my wife is obsessed with true crime podcasts and these
Most
shows.
women are, because they want to kill their spouse.
I guess, yeah. And for me, you can, if it's real, I ain't watching it because it's disgusting. It's horrifying knowing that this stuff happens. But if you give me a movie or a show, I can watch those sorts of things all day. So. Silence of the Lambs, Manhunter, like Red Dragon, all that shit. But Silence of the Lambs was, second. Great.
It is a good movie, but
crime, great.
I don't even own it.
Character, really?
No,
Yeah.
but I like it.
It's a like.
Yeah, it's a like.
I love it.
But I don't own it because it's not something that I like go back to. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a, Well, I've seen it a lot, but it's not like a. I just want to pop this.
Yeah,
it's
no,
a fun afternoon run.
No. It's I gotta be in a mood. Yeah.
Oh look, more full moon. This isn't really horror, but it's. I mean, it's full moon.
Yeah.
It's their foray into fantasy. Dr. Mordred. I love this film. This is Full Moon's Doctor Strange. Charlie could not get the rights from Marvel to make Doctor Strange, so he said, fuck it, I'm going to make my own. And he did. And there are so many similarities. But that's part of the charm of it.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever watched this.
Oh, man.
I feel like you've shown me things.
Jeffrey Combs is Dr. Mordred.
I feel like I've seen pieces.
I love this movie.
Okay.
And I actually flipped out when they announced this was coming to Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's cleaned up. It's widescreen.
Yeah.
It's got commentary by Combs and Charlie Band. I love this movie. Another 90s direct-to-video gem from Full Moon.
They keep pumping up the hits. These guys.
Oh, I got a list here. I'm just gonna keep...
This isn't... The movie itself I actually do not love. But what came from it I love, which is Buffy. The movie itself is fine. I have watched it many, many, many times, but I do not love it. It's never something I'm like, I gotta watch Buffy, as opposed to the show, which I have watched more times in completion, in perpetuity. Yeah. So, yeah, Buffy, I don't know, it's horror comedy.
I saw Buffy in theaters. I did. My neighborhood friends, they were a lot of girls, and we all went. They had the soundtrack. I remember. We own it, but it's a movie I like. My wife loves the movie. And that's why we own it. I probably wouldn't have owned it if she didn't want to get it. So
I feel like I own it by proxy. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's on DVD. I don't even think it's on Blu-ray.
Oh, we have the Blu-ray.
You
gotta have that 1080p.
I don't think yeah, maybe.
All right, I'm just gonna get rid of these full moons right here.
Okay.
Castle Freak, another Stuart Gordon. I love it.
Still haven't seen this one.
Oh my god.
I know.
You might actually be disturbed by this film. I could see you being like, ugh.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's things that go on in this film that I think you would be like.
But you don't. You laugh at them.
I love how sick it is.
Okay.
And because I love Stuart Gordon. I love his movies.
Yeah.
Like From Beyond, I think is a masterpiece.
It is a good movie. So it is a good movie.
And again, it's got, once again, like Reanimator, like From Beyond, it's got Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton.
Okay.
It is exactly what it is, a castle freak. And I love it. And then, of course, the trilogy of all trilogies within the Full Moon universe. Subspecies. Yes,
There
is
are
a 4.
more.
Yes, there is a 5.
Yes.
And yes, there is Vampire Journals,
Yes.
which is a spin-off. But you can't beat the first 3 subspecies films.
I agree with that.
I love these movies. I still love these movies. Radu is wonderfully goofy and
his fingers are
absurd.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, but
yeah.
Great performances, great atmosphere. The music is awesome. Prime full moon, as far as I'm concerned, and I love them.
Well, so. I'll keep the vampire theme because I have many vampire things. Well, we just talked about Buffy too. Interview with the Vampire.
Also on my list.
In my top vampire movies of all time, rankings, I really have nothing wrong with it. I read the books. I love it. The TV show does it better, and that's just because they have more time.
Yeah, the TV show kicks ass.
But this movie kicks ass. Like, there's nothing wrong with this movie. If, you got 2.5 hours, that's the way to tell it. They did it.
Yeah, I remember trying to show somebody this movie, and they were like, all right, turn it off.
Katie?
No, it wasn't Katie. I can't remember who it was, but they were just like, this is so fucking long and boring. And I'm like, man,
okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's telling a story, all the locations, the New Orleans, all that stuff. Everything is... The effects are awesome.
The effects are fucking great. It's a great
behind the scenes. Did all the gore and everything.
Making of it too, like, yeah.
This needs a 4K release. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that's on my
crappy ass Blu-ray
bucket list.
I agree. Also,
that is also on
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
Which I like more than I like Interview with a Vampire. I love this movie. I just think how they made this movie.
Oh, I agree. You're probably right because there's creatures. There's more than
one. And like everything type. is in camera. All the effects are like old school in camera. They did it, to emulate the movies of the past. Mm-hmm. Francis Ford Coppola did it, and
the music in this movie is
everything in this fucking movie is
Gary
awesome.
Gary Oldham,
even Keanu Reeves' terrible performance and English accent is laughably ridiculous, but it's part of the charm of this film. Mm-hmm. I love it. To me, it's a combination of Universal smashed with Hammer films.
Yeah.
And this is a 4K.
Yes.
And it's the best it's ever looked, ever.
I love this movie.
Me too.
I really do. Also great behind the scenes documentary. Well, okay, let's just finalize the specific vampire genre for me, which will be From Dusk Till Dawn, which does not have a 4K release. Which is a goddamn shame.
I know. This movie used to be my favorite film of all time.
Really?
Yeah, back in the day.
What replaced it? Or just time, like...
Yeah, I think time, seeing other movies. Yeah. Like...
Avatar comes out or
something. Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But everything that this movie did appealed to my sensibilities wholeheartedly.
Absolutely.
This movie meant a lot to me. I made a fucking parody movie of this movie, which you can get from me. Seavage's Fan Film Frights.
From Almost Night
till Almost Night till Almost Day. Yeah. It's on there. But yeah, I agree.
I'll be honest with you. This movie may be, other than Shawshank, my favorite movie of the 90s. Because of all the things you just said. It's like, when I really think back to the 90s in movies, like, there are certain things like Pulp Fiction was another one of those movies where I was like, holy fuck. Jurassic Park. You know, there's some insane movies, but From Dusk Till Dawn, I remember going, God damn. In the theater, I'd never seen anything like it. Obviously, we've never seen a fucking dinosaur.
I've got a theater story, but
yeah,
I want to save it for when we actually do our
From
own
Dusk Till when it comes out in 4K.
We're
And you
waiting.
Get that
We've been waiting
for 25 years.
I mean,
to do that episode. 26.
We know that Robert Rodriguez worked on the 4K version of this fucking movie. Where the hell is it?
I don't know.
What's the holdup?
Yeah.
It's a crying shame, and I'm so stubborn. I have not watched the movie.
I haven't either.
In years because I'm waiting for a 4K release of this film. Because this Blu-ray sucks.
Yeah. Well, that's it too. The Blu-ray sucks. I don't want to watch it shittily.
Yeah, man.
I want it in the way it deserves to be seen. But, you know, like he said, we could do we will do an entire episode on From Dusk Till Dawn because it's very near and dear to both of our hearts.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, man.
Are all these movies the ones you own? Like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this from Sleepy Hollow's on my list.
Ed Wood and Sleepy Hollow, two Tim Burton films that I love. Love.
You love Ed Wood more than I do. I like Ed Wood.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, you know, it's...
I get why.
It's very special.
Yeah.
It's very special. But I love Sleepy Hollow more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sleepy Hollow
It's bewitching.
is my favorite Tim Burton film. It always has been once I saw this thing.
Really?
Yeah, it was Beetlejuice.
I was gonna say Beetlejuice is still.
But I own a lot of Tim Burton films.
Yeah, for sure.
And they don't fall into that category like this.
Yeah.
But holy shit, I love this film. And because I love Hammer horror so much, and this is Tim Burton's Hammer film.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's got Hammer actors in it.
Yeah.
The blood color is Hammer, the atmosphere,
man.
It's all fucking there.
Good music.
And finally, it came to 4K in a beautiful fucking print.
I'll have to get this.
Because every print before this has sucked. And they finally did it justice. But yeah, two Tim Burton 90s films I adore. There you go.
Those are good. This man will show up many times.
Robert Z'Dar,
Maniac Cop. No, but I think he's gonna show up. Yeah, he's gonna show up multiple times. So the first one I'll say is Dead Alive. What's your matter?
Now I didn't put...
Because is it... What?
No, I didn't put Brain Dead, Dead Alive on this list yet. Because I think that Peter Jackson deserves his own episode.
He does, but he's on here a couple times.
I get it.
A few times.
I get it.
So what do you want to do? Skip him? Just
no. You
Peter
can
Jackson
you can talk about it.
I know it's fine.
Talk about it, but I didn't include. Well, I did. I included one. I did include one Peter Jackson film that we will talk
Heavenly
about.
Creatures.
Yes, but I guess we'll talk about it right now.
Well, yeah. Listen, Peter Jackson is one of those people who does deserve his own episode. Probably a multi-part episode because we'd probably spend a lot of time talking about each movie individually if we wanted to.
Yeah, and I have very specific stories that involve his films, and so I want to do its own thing.
Yeah, that's
with
fair.
That. Plus, Peter has been working on his early films, his first 4 films, to do full 4K restorations. He's been doing it for a decade.
I was going to say, like 10 years.
And I think, from what the rumors are saying, they're finally hitting this year, which is very exciting, and that'll be a cause for celebratory episode, you know, and so we'll get thick with that stuff. But I 100% agree. Dead Alive / Brain Dead deserves to be on this list.
So then
it is phenomenal.
Frighteners. And
Yeah, so I like The Frighteners, and I have a ridiculous version of The Frighteners. It's a 4K version, and it looks and sounds mind blowing. They did, and Peter Jackson worked on the fucking restoration.
of course he did.
You know, so it's like, where the fuck is the rest of this goddamn material, Peter?
But isn't that even not in America?
It's not in America.
Yeah,
it's a German
that's
version.
That's the other thing too.
And an American version is not allowed to be put out for 4 years
because of the German
because of
version.
this licensing deal that they have with. But that's just The Frighteners.
Right.
Heavenly Creatures is part of the first 4 that Peter made.
Okay.
And this is also getting the restoration, which is good because this Blu-ray sucks. But holy shit, I love this film.
Muddy.
Love this movie. First Kate Winslet, first Melanie Linsky. It's a tragic story, but man, Peter weaves a tale.
Yeah.
Based on a true story. So anyway, yeah.
Great movie.
Here's one that we both love.
Yeah, see, it's not even on here. It's not even on this list because I forgot about it.
How could you forget about Blade?
I actually, so I'm working on this vampire gangster movie with my writing partner, and I have to think about Blade every day because of that. Because there's no one else like this. And I remember seeing this in the theater. Maybe you and I saw this together.
We probably did. We probably did. And I know we saw the second one together.
I do know that. But I remember the first one when that fucking opening scene, and I remember being in the theater and being like, even seeing New Line with Marvel, like, what are we about to see? Because Blade's always been a great character. But yeah, this fucking movie, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Stephen Norrington. It's like neck and neck. Blade 1 and 2 are two phenomenal
and they're
films.
Two different movies.
Very different.
Yeah.
But they're both kick-ass.
Yeah.
And finally, Blade 2 is coming to 4K this year.
That's about time.
This year, finally.
Oh, damn time.
Del Toro has done the restoration. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Blade, I mean... God. Fucking great. 1998, baby.
And Blade 3, we went to Canada to go see.
We did.
So bad. Child's Play 2 through 4.
Yeah, so I've got Child's Play 2.
Which is my favorite, personally. Though, Bride of Chucky is
my favorite.
There. Yeah,
and it's on here. I need to get the 4K of Bride of Chucky, and I will.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like 3. I did see 3. I saw Child's Play 2 on in the theaters.
Yeah. You did not.
I know you. I have a story with you. And Child's Play.
Have we done Child's Play?
We have not done our own. It's own
okay.
Child's
Well,
Play.
I mean, you have your story from your perspective, and I have my own perspective. But yes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Child's Play 2 and Bride of Chucky are my favorite Child's Play films.
Mm-hmm.
But Bride beats out Part 2 for me. I absolutely love Bride of Chucky.
I do too. Both 90s.
Yep, both 90s.
Both are totally different movies.
Yes. Yes.
But he's got some real zingers. Okay, those are mine. What's yours? Those are ours. That's on, yeah.
Wishmaster.
Yeah.
1. This other bullshit. No thanks.
Yeah.
But I just watched this again when people were over.
Yeah.
And it's great.
It holds up.
I love this movie.
It's a fun movie.
Um,
Cool idea, good effects.
Robert Kurtzman,
Good
K&B
acting.
Group, did
Yeah.
all this.
Yeah.
Casey and I saw this in the theaters
And we did.
in Olean.
Yeah. Who directs this movie?
Robert Kurtzman.
Oh, Rob Kurtz. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's got like a load of
Yes.
horror actors in it.
Yeah.
I mean, K&B went balls deep with the special effects.
Mm.
Great performance by Andrew Divoff
Mm-hmm.
playing the Djinn.
Yeah.
Really fun. This movie is like a nice last gasp of like 80s special effects horror.
I was
you know
going to
what I
say,
mean?
yeah, it's
But
a nice
done in the 90s.
throwback film.
For sure.
Mhm.
And they did From Dusk Till Dawn and Wishmaster sort of back to back.
Mhm.
And both were insane movies for K&B,
They had budgets.
But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to say this is like my favorite film series necessarily, but as a series, I like it, which is Leprechaun. Like I like the I really, I don't know if I'll say I love the Leprechaun movies, but I like them
I gotta pull it
quite a bit, where I've seen them
so do I.
many times. Like I would buy a Leprechaun shirt from Gutter Garbs or whatever it came out. So as a whole, I very much enjoyed the Leprechaun movies.
So do I.
Yeah,
I actually
one-liners.
should
Great
have
one-liners.
pulled that off the shelf because it's a great box set, and I'm sure every horror fan has it. It's the box set with all of them in it, and it's got a shit ton of features. But for me, the first three are where it's at.
Yeah.
And then 4 and on take a real deep dive.
Yeah.
But
They
1
up to
through
no
3,
good.
1 through 3 are awesome, and 3 is probably my favorite of the 3. And I saw 2 in theaters.
What's 3 again?
3 is they're in Las Vegas.
Yeah, in Vegas, I was gonna say. Well, because we're gonna talk another series that goes to fucking Vegas, right? On your list, our list. Well, I'll say it. Hellraiser. Doesn't Hellraiser 3 go to Vegas?
No.
Wasn't it?
Nope.
Maybe I'm getting mixed up with Leprechaun. Wow, Hellraiser movies too.
Yeah, well, I do have
Hellraiser's
it's 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
I've got this beauty.
Mm-hmm.
This is the amazing 4K release of 1 through 4.
Which are I love all of them.
Those are my Hellraiser movies. 1 through
I like
4.
some other ones later on.
I do not.
You don't like
But
it, really?
I don't like. I like the
5 and
remake
7. I
that
think
just-
I like.
no,
Yeah, I like that too. The remake.
No, I hate all the ones after 4.
Yeah.
And that's when they started going direct to video.
They basically turned into Saw movies.
1 through 4 were theatrical,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw 3 and 4 in theaters, and 3 and 4, I love. And they're 90s horror.
4 is. I don't know why people hate 4 so much.
Yeah,
I guess I feel weird. Like I guess we're in the minority.
Sweetly dip, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah. All right, what's next?
Oh,
Well, of course.
Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. Now, Casey and I saw both of these films, this and Bordello of Blood, together.
Yeah.
Big Tales from the Crypt fans. I like Bordello of Blood. I do own.
Yeah.
I do own, but I like it.
Yeah.
This one I love.
I genuinely love this movie. For sure.
I was also just talking about this film when you and I saw it, because I remember where we saw it, and it was disgusting. And I think it was that Palace Theater in
in
Olean.
Yeah.
Had fucking bats in it.
Yeah.
It was damp and gross.
Is that where we saw it?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was the one and only time I saw it in that theater. And I believe it was like right before they were
demolished.
Yeah,
that place was shut down.
It was disgusting.
I do remember going to. I guess it was this movie.
But this is where we saw it.
Yeah.
Regardless of where we saw it, it's a great film.
Yeah. Such a good movie.
Yeah.
I would have Billy Zane sign that movie. This is a series. I think you like them. I don't know if you love them, which is Final Destination. Isn't Final Destination the 90s? Or is that 2000?
I think that's 2000.
Okay.
It might be 2000.
Really? All right. Well,
maybe
then
2001.
Now I gotta look it up.
So it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Maybe the first one's 99. I don't know, but I feel like it's 2000, maybe 2001.
It's 2000.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So instead, sub him in the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, I got the Mouth of Madness there. I got a couple so I got Body Bags and In the Mouth of Madness. John Carpenter is my favorite horror director. Saw this theatrically. Fell in love with this fucking movie. I love this film. I do read Sutter Kane. This went direct to video.
Body Bags did?
Yep.
Oh, great movie.
This was going to... So this premiered on one of the... I can't remember if it's Showtime or HBO. I want to say it was Showtime, but it was like a special movie event. It was supposed to be like the launch of a series.
Yeah.
Called John Carpenter's Body Bags. And it was going to be like a Tales from the Crypt.
Okay.
Obviously that didn't happen. But it went to video. Love them both.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome 90s John Carpenter horror movies.
I feel like...
And these are the only
90s
John Carpenter horror movies that I love. Or movies in general from John Carpenter that I love. From the 90s.
From the 90s.
There you go.
That's, where do you rank In the Mouth of Madness? Because...
I mean, it's high to me.
Other than, okay, never mind. I can't say that. Yeah, it's high. It's not Escape from New York. Escape from New York is quite noble.
For you? Wow. All right.
In the Mouth of Madness, though, the more I watch it, because the older I get, I learn like a little bit more about Cthulhu and all that stuff and Lovecraft, and then I appreciate it more. And I'm like, oh yeah.
I love that it's like you can sort of, it's a choose your own adventure type of movie. Like you can interpret it the way you want to interpret it. Anyone can take away what they want to take away from it.
Mm-hmm.
The ending is so sort of ambiguous. You could go either way.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that, very much like The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. It's, you can go either way at the end there. And there's a nice debate,
Yeah.
Same with In the Mouth of Madness. Is he fucking insane?
This is a movie... We already touched on the director. I don't know what you feel about this movie now, but I actually think it still holds up. The Faculty.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's over there on the shelf, but I did not pull it out. Yeah. I don't know.
It's a good soundtrack.
I know there's a 4K of it, but I was like, do I like this movie enough
I will get that 4K. Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
I just thought of something.
I love the concept.
Yeah.
KMB did the effects.
Robert Rodriguez. Hot young actors playing horror movies, though, which is...
It's a Robert Rodriguez movie that does not feel like a Robert Rodriguez movie at all. It's very...
Anyone could have directed it. I don't really think there's any Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's very odd when you like go through his filmography. It's a very like studio Robert Rodriguez movie. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, but it's still good. Yeah, it's still good.
Yeah.
I work out.
Oh,
Warlock The Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Now, people, I think I've always sort of gotten like from people.
Have people watched the Warlock movies that you know of? Like when you meet people, like is it a known? I feel like a lot of people don't know Warlock. I guess is what I'm trying to say. I could be wrong.
So technically, Warlock was made in 1989, the first one, but it wasn't released until the 90s.
Yeah.
Warlock 2 blows the first one away, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
This is an Anthony Hickox film.
Yep.
Paula Marshall she was a Anthony Hickox staple for a while there.
I love
I love this fucking movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I've got posters, I've got the video game, I've got the book adaptation, I've got the soundtrack, I've got a laser disc.
You do.
Yes, I've got the VHS.
You are the world's biggest Warlock fan.
I don't think so, but man, I fucking love it.
I don't know. I think you would be hard pressed to find someone who has
saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
I saw that in theaters.
This is, there's a few Freddy movies that came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I didn't like it as much at the time. I like New Nightmare probably more than what else came out? Freddy's Dead.
So, yeah, I didn't pull it.
Either?
No.
Yeah.
I do like New Nightmare. I don't love it.
I think New Nightmare was Scream before Scream.
100%.
Like the more I watch New Nightmare, I'm like, all right, Scream. You just kind of took a lot of this, just did it with younger, different.
When Freddy's Dead came out, I loved it. That was a super fucking fun theatrical experience.
That was the best Freddy movie at the time when I watched it.
And then, as the years went on and I watched it more, I really dislike Freddy's Dead. I think it's pretty awful. So when I do Nightmare Marathon, I always skip Freddy's Dead.
Do you really?
Yep. But I always play New Nightmare.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Yeah. I didn't put any Jason in there. Yeah, this is on my list.
Candyman.
Yeah, that's on my list.
Love this film. Creepy as fuck. Very unsettling atmosphere.
Yeah.
I just love it. A
lot of
genuinely
social commentary
awesome,
in this movie.
Creepy
yeah.
tale.
Yeah.
Great performances.
Oh, yeah.
Virginia Madsen. Yes.
Yeah, this is a good movie. Really good movie.
Yeah, love it. Great 90s horror.
You put me onto this, and I'm sure it's on your list. And it makes me not ever want to watch the original again, which is Night of the Living Dead.
1990?
Yeah.
I did not pull it. I don't know why. I completely forgot about
Yeah,
it.
we watched it a few months ago, I think, and I had never seen it. And I was like, this is a fucking great movie. And I don't need to watch the original. Not because I don't like the original or think it's garbage, but it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know if I would need to unless I'm having, like, I guess we'd never have done this, or I haven't, like an ultimate, like, Romero marathon.
Yeah.
I think I've ever had a Romero marathon.
I definitely have.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't pull that.
I completely forgot about it. But
Yeah.
yes, I do love Night of the Living Dead 90.
Yeah.
Written by George Romero, directed by Tom Savini.
It's fantastic.
Kick-ass Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara in the original is a fucking catatonic
Milquetoast.
waste of space. She is such an annoyingly ugh. And Romero wisely rectified that with the remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Great music, great atmosphere, great effects. Yeah, it's dope.
Dark magic effects.
Here's two.
Yeah, well, one of them's on my list.
I know.
Yeah.
I know you.
I need to rewatch
creeped
it.
out
I'm
by
sure
that
now
one.
I'd probably be fine with it.
Clive Barker's Nightbreed and Lord of Illusions. I love them both. Love them both. Both have Clive's psychosexual sensibilities.
Yeah.
One of us is a straight up monster movie, and one is like a serial killer fantasy voodoo magic creep show. You know.
Yeah. I need to just maybe watch that. Like I need to rewatch it and see if I hate it. Because I just remember watching it. I don't remember if we went to the theater and saw this.
I did.
Maybe I went with you because I remember being like grossed out and like this is not for me. Whereas, and Clive Barker is weird and creepy and all those things anyway, but this one was a bit too much.
I love them.
But definitely Nightbreed.
And I prefer the theatrical cut to the Cabal cut or the director's cut and all that stuff. Theatrical cut, for me, is the way to go for Nightbreed. Interesting, the others, but theatrical is my way.
Cabal.
So this isn't really horror. It's like, I don't know, it kind of mixes horror, superhero, Sam Raimi's Darkman.
I didn't put it down because I didn't put it as horror.
Yeah, it's
It
kind of straddles that line,
Right.
I guess, but I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Nonetheless. And holy crap, did they do a great job with this 4K.
I want to watch that.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
It's got all the Raimi staples. It's good.
That I need to rewatch.
Another, I saw it in theaters. Remember talking about it at school, and people fucking made fun of me for talking about Darkman. And I was just so like, I just didn't understand.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, you guys are fucking dumb. Like, you're making fun of me for watching it was so, kids are fucking stupid.
Yeah,
and it didn't bother me. I was just like, the fuck?
Right.
Anyway.
Darkman 2 is bad. I think I remember.
So 2 and 3 are direct to video.
Yeah.
And it's Arnold Vosloo.
As
Darkman.
That's right. Who's the bad guy?
Well, it was Larry Drake. They brought him back.
That's right.
Yeah. It was Durant's return or
Yes.
something. The return of Durant or something like that.
Yeah.
At the time, direct to video, when they came out, I found them fun. But I don't think they're very fun now.
Raimi, which is Army of Darkness. I know he gives that face. I can quote Army of Darkness. I'm sure you can too. Up and down.
Unfortunately.
The block. And it was because you know what it was, is that fucking poster. I remember going into the video store and going like, what is this? There's no way my mom's gonna let me watch a movie with a guy with a chainsaw on his arm. Like, that's just never gonna happen. And I remember the next door neighbors to my grandma, there was kids that were our age. The kid was like, I saw Army of Darkness. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, like my stepdad let me watch it. It was awesome. And I was like, like so sad. And so when I finally got a chance to watch it, I don't remember when in the 90s I did, but for me, now, of course, Evil Dead 2 is far superior, and there's many reasons why, but like at that time, no. Army of Darkness was, I watched it every morning when I went to school. Like before I was getting ready for school, I watched it every morning. That's what I had playing in the background as I was getting ready for school, eating my breakfast. Like, I watched that fucking movie ad nauseum.
So Evil Dead 2 is the better film, as far as I'm concerned. And it always was. So...
I think it's because I like going back to medieval times, too.
I didn't...
You know? Like, that idea.
So me and Kyle
I
went to see that movie.
Loving it.
And we saw it in Olean.
Yeah.
Kyle and I. And we came out of it kind of upset. Because we wanted Evil Dead 2, and we got the Three Stooges.
I mean, yeah, for
and
sure.
not that we didn't. I mean, come on, the type of person I am, we love buffoonery and stupidity.
Yeah.
I think our expectations were just more mixing how Evil Dead 2 was, as opposed to this just straight up silly romp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is nothing disturbing or terrifying or ghoulishly gross in Army of Darkness at all. It is, in fact, it's weird that it was rated R.
Well, I was just trying to say,
know?
like, I'm trying to think about it, and there's really not, I don't even think he swears necessarily.
There's
he just says
nothing in
bitch.
it that would be, you know, it ain't Evil Dead 2.
No.
And so I like it, but that's a strong...
Do you even watch it anymore?
No, not at all.
Like, you don't?
I do own it.
Yeah.
Because of
so many times.
Oh my God, I've seen it so many fucking
Yeah.
times. It's,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I own it primarily for the making of, because I love the documentary shit.
And the music.
And
and
you know, Evil Dead 2 is that's the people are gonna be like, what?
Really?
I love Pumpkinhead 2. I almost love Pumpkinhead 2 more than I love the first one.
Interesting.
I
forgot about
direct to video.
Yeah.
KNB took over Pumpkinhead from Stan Winston.
Yep.
It is a cheesy fucking film.
Yeah.
Soleil Moon Frye is in it. Amy Dolenz is in it.
It's good effects.
Linnea Quigley has a cameo. She gets killed.
Yeah.
Pumpkinhead's wearing sneakers in this movie. It's something.
Yeah.
But I just love it.
Yeah.
I honestly was shocked when Scream Factory put this out on Blu-ray. I just never thought it would come to Blu-ray, but I'm happy it did. And it has extras.
Interesting.
Is it directed by Jeff Burr, who was like the sequel king back then?
Is it part of a pack, or obviously this is
No,
individual?
Individual, man.
Yeah, but I feel like at that point it's like put them all together, because who wants them all? Like 3 and 4 probably never. They're not getting Blu-ray releases.
Hell no.
Yeah. So.
Hell no.
Oof.
But there you go. I really love it.
That's an interest. That's a. Okay.
Yeah.
This is, one of those things that stuck with me throughout the years, and I have watched it periodically throughout the years, though I do think the new ones are technically better, which is It, the
Oh yeah.
TV movie.
So I didn't put it on the list. I did think about it, and I do love it.
Yeah.
I think maybe because it was a mini series. I don't know why I didn't pull it, but
Toe the line.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Both iterations.
Yes. Yeah.
But this one, the 1990 It miniseries, I have watched probably once a year.
I've watched it more than I've watched the new ones, and I really do like the new ones.
I love the first.
The first one I love.
The second new one, but it's just like the second part of the story.
Yeah.
I don't like that second part as much as I love the first.
Yep.
That's just how I always have been. But,
I mean, in the book and in the TV.
Yeah.
Second half's not as good, but yeah, it's it's a great movie or miniseries movie. I don't know the fuck.
Innocent Blood. I love this film.
What the fuck is this?
This is a John Landis vampire film.
Is it good? Well, you love it.
I love it.
Hmm.
I love it.
I mean,
It's
I love
very
Shawn
odd. It's a
Landis.
vampire gangster film. It's kind of like Sopranos meets vampires.
Well, now you gotta. Now that I'm okay, well, I gotta watch this.
Very different, very odd, but has that John Landis American Werewolf wit, that satire-y wit that I don't know. I really dig it. Fun cameos. There's horror cameos. Other horror directors make little appearances. Savini makes an appearance.
You know, I never watched this movie. Is this fucking image is horrible. Like, I remember passing by it and being like, "Is this a mannequin? Is she a reptile?" Like,
She's a vampire.
I didn't even think about the director of American Werewolf in London, but just seeing this like, is that a picnic basket? Is there a baby in there?
That's a mob table, a mob hit.
This is fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah, this is.
But now that you say all these things, now maybe watch this, because actually
it's very underrated.
Yeah, I want to see this,
but I love it.
Yeah. All right. That might be it. Well, sorry, there's Tremors.
I didn't pick Tremors.
Really?
Yeah, because I
Tremors?
love Tremors.
Yeah.
I own the 4K.
Yeah.
To me, it's not a horror movie. I find it like a fun sci-fi adventure creature feature
dark,
romp.
man.
Well, again, but it's more horror than
Heavenly
Tremors.
Creatures. You think's horror?
Well, that's real horror. That's that's some scary shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think of it as a fun sci-fi creature feature.
Mm-hmm.
Tremors. I don't know.
Well, it's also
I guess I could have pulled it, but
like, I didn't put The Mummy on there, but it's not a horror movie. But I also didn't put Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
and it's like, is it?
Yeah.
And Starship Troopers, I will say, is probably in the same category as From Dusk Till Dawn, as movies that I love. Well, not From Dusk, but I love it. I do love it a million goddamn times.
I love Starship Troopers, but I guess I
and it is
more
horrific,
gory sci-fi.
It's gory sci-fi.
Yeah. So I didn't pull it, but it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got Ticks.
I know you like this one.
Love this film. Another direct-to-video. Amy Dolenz, Seth Green, Alfonso Ribeiro.
Oh, yeah.
They call him Panic because he never does.
Who directed this?
This is a Tony Randall who directed Hellraiser 2.
Okay.
But I love Ticks. It's a great horror creature film. Little creatures.
I like a lot of creature films.
Very fun.
Like Munchies.
And I've got Night of the Demons 2.
See, now that was on my list of things to watch too, because I've never seen this.
It's kick-ass. It's so fun.
Is it better than the first one? It's better than the remake.
Yeah, it's better than remake. 2 is like, I really think 1 and 2 are on par with one another. I think they're like, it's a great back-to-back
demon
double feature. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's fucking great.
Yeah. Do they bring Linnea back to life or something?
No, Linnea's not.
Okay.
But Steve Johnson comes back to do all the effects.
Okay.
And he ups the effects ante in this one. Really fun, adds a little more comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super fun.
All right. Well, that sounds.
And of course,
great.
it's another Halloween romp.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
'cause they're Halloween parties that they take place in. Yeah, it's fucking good. Again, this is the new Scream Factory Blu-ray,
Yeah.
so it's packed with extras.
It's choice.
And it's finally widescreen. You know, I had only had the VHS, so.
Dang. All right. So it's beautiful.
And
It's
then
delicious. Of course.
Brain Scan.
Why is this not on my list?
Fucking love Brain
I'm looking
Scan.
at the poster, and I'm like, Brain Scan's a great movie.
Whew.
Yeah, it's great.
Love it. Love it.
Did you saw this in the theater? Right?
Yes, I did. I have the ticket stub.
I remember seeing the trailer and being like, this is going to be fun. Because, like, people were just talking about, like, virtual reality. And, like, I had one of those CD-ROM computers, and there were some games where you were doing that from that perspective. Not killing people, but, like, you were as that character. And at that time, it was like, holy shit.
Well, yeah, this is 1994.
Yeah. It was groundbreaking. In horror, especially.
I was 17.
Yeah.
Fucking love this film.
It was a great movie. Good music.
Again, I probably watch Brain Scan every year. And then we did again this year for the 30th anniversary. 30 years of Brain Scan.
Yeah.
Another film that I own a lot of ancillary bits
yeah.
and pieces from. Soundtracks.
Did you do an episode with Chol on this?
Yeah.
So check it out. All about Brain Scan.
That's right.
That's a good movie. I feel like that's a movie. If you're a horror fan, you know it, but
I'm
normal humans
really
don't know
upset that it didn't take off because
There should be
they
sequels.
obviously wanted Trickster to
Yes.
continue,
Yeah.
and he's such a good character.
Yep. Yeah. He's a great character. And gone.
And the extras on this Scream Factory disc are phenomenal.
I should have this.
Behind the scenes making of the film.
Yeah.
Steve Johnson doing the effects, doing his makeup and everything.
I gotta see that.
The actor that plays the Trickster looks nothing like the Trickster. I mean, it's so insane what Steve did to this guy's face, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking sweet. Sweet shit.
It was a good movie.
All right, now I want to...
Show what movies you saw.
So I pulled some of the... what's left of the 90s horror ticket stubs that I had, that I saved. This one...
I'm sure there's some stinkers.
Oh, yeah. But this one I remember well because we fucking hated it.
We all hated it.
This is Escape from L.A.
Yep. Where's that at?
This is in New York City.
Yeah.
We wanted to go see The Frighteners. We couldn't because our buddy
It's too young.
was too young. And regardless of our age, they wouldn't let him in.
Yeah.
And
Why did we not want to go see Escape from New York, though?
I mean, Escape
Or,
from
LA.
LA? I mean, to me, it looked terrible.
It did, but I'm just saying, like, being as big of Escape from New York fans, it's weird that we were, like, hey, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
John Carpenter versus Peter Jackson, like, it's a hard toss-up. Frighteners also
Well, the
looked fucking
Frighteners
great.
looked fucking amazing.
Great.
And
And it is.
Escape from LA looked like this weird comedy version
Yeah,
of
which it
Escape
is.
from New
It's
York.
dumb
Like it-
and...
I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. But anyway, there's
All right,
there's that.
yeah, so that.
Hellraiser 4.
There you go.
Where did I see this? I saw this in Elmira at the Hoyts Theater, which I've talked about so many times at the Arnott Mall.
Man,
Hellraiser 4.
that's a good movie.
Brain Scan. Again in Elmira.
That thing's seen better days.
Yes. I
Some
have a
movies.
few that are like
Oh,
rough.
that's Olean.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, I have that somewhere in the archives. I know I have my Starship Troopers too.
Bordello of Blood.
Yeah. You probably saw any of these ones with me.
Yes, I did.
August 1996.
Yeah, that was you and me. This is Jason Goes to Hell. And I saw this at the Hills theater.
Yep.
Or the
in the
mall.
In the mall.
Yeah.
In the Olean Center Mall.
Jason Goes to Hell. This one is The Crow.
You know, that was another one where I
don't like The Crow.
I like it enough to say, like, I watched The Crow a million times.
In the Mouth of Madness.
Wow.
Sleepy Hollow.
I saw that with you.
This is Interview with a Vampire.
94. That's 30 years old, this ticket.
Species.
You know, I wrote down Species and I didn't say it because I was like, it's not like it's stuck with me. I haven't seen Species again.
Candyman.
Yeah. But I remember at the time Species was great. We should rewatch it.
This we did see together. This shouldn't be in this list.
Is it Idle Hands?
It's Independence Day.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
because it was a monumental.
We walked out of the theater.
Experience.
That was an experience. That was another one of those
blown away.
Wow.
Village of the Damned. John Carpenter.
I remember you seeing that movie and telling me how bad it was.
Yeah, it's
because
bad.
I was like, I'm not going to see it.
New Nightmare.
Yeah.
Another From Dusk Till Dawn. I saw it so many times. Halloween 6.
Oh, okay. That's the Paul Rudd one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
The Faculty.
This is it. Tinseltown.
No.
It says Tinseltown.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw it in Tinseltown. Weird.
Huh, so what... I wonder what year this is that you're... When would you have been
98?
here in the 90s?
Well, because of Amy.
You guys dated in the 90s?
Yes. We started dating in 98.
Okay, so this must be from 98.
This shouldn't be in here either, but it's Time Cop.
It's a great movie.
I do love that
Yeah,
movie.
it's a great movie.
John Carpenter's Vampires.
Now, what... Is that from the 90s?
Yeah, it's from the 90s.
I like this movie a lot.
All right.
You don't like it?
I like it, but I don't love it.
That's a fun movie.
Wolf.
I didn't have that. I remember seeing that in the theater going, this is not quite for me.
The Mangler.
Really? I went to theaters?
Yep.
All right.
And then
95.
this is one of my Fangoria Weekend of Horror tickets from 1995. I don't know where my 94 or 93 one is.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows where the 96 one is that we did.
I don't know.
But this one survived.
Yeah.
95. But yeah, so that's some of the
So
90s gems.
it's our list was really not too different, as much as you hate the 90s horror.
Yeah.
I only had a few things that were different than yours. I think we did pretty good.
That's right.
We did a lot of good work this day. There's some shit, there's a lot of good stuff. It's just that we came up with 30, 40 in an entire decade compared to like the 30, 40 that come out like in 1985.
Yeah.
So in a couple years in the 80s compared to an entire decade of the 90s. But there's still a lot of good like things that I really, really do go back to repeatedly from the 90s. That list.
Yeah. All right. So before we go, I want to do some pimping real quick.
Pimp it!
Just because we're trying to raise money for a television show that we're shooting called Wellsville Nights. We have a GoFundMe right now. Wellsville Nights.
It's in the comments.
Production
or
budget.
in
It will
the,
be.
in the
Yeah,
description.
It'll be in the description. We shot the pilot in 2022. We have 7 more episodes written, and we're trying to make as many episodes as we can. Right now, it's probably looking like we'll be able to make another 2, but if we can push a little bit more, then we can do 3 episodes. And if you just want to donate and help us make this show, you can go to GoFundMe. There's 3 different videos on there that shows you exactly what this show is. It
Yes.
really goes into detail It is a comedy horror. And it's a parody of 80s and 90s teen soap operas. If you don't want to donate, but you want to buy something where that money will go towards the budget.
Like, what things could they buy?
You can get the documentary Zero Budget Heroes, The Legend of Chris Seaver and Low Budget Pictures on VHS or Blu-ray, directed by Zach Oliveris. This was a documentary that was made about us.
Amazing documentary.
3 or 4 years ago now. And it finally came out in 2022. But here's some physical media releases, and the money made from these will go directly towards the budget of Wellsville Nights. And speaking of Wellsville Nights, we have the pilot Blu-ray. These Blu-rays were made specifically to raise money for the show. This has the pilot episode and a bunch of features. It's got the
extras,
the cast read-through video, and it's got a commentary on here, and it's got some PSAs that we shot. And
this is packed.
This is directly helping us make more episodes of the show, which is scheduled to start shooting at the end of July.
Right around your birthday.
Yeah. My 47th birthday.
That's it. So it's time.
47th.
Donate.
Yeah. Also, I don't know. I do this. This is... People have liked these in the
They're
past. I do this thing called Saturday Morning Sleepover. I do it in the house. I curate, 8 to 10 hours of nothing but 80s and early 90s television shows, cartoons, commercials, music videos, weird oddity things. I edit it all together, and we just shit ton of people just sit in a room, and we watch this stuff all day.
Eating cereal.
Takes you back to the
Wearing
80s,
pajamas.
to your childhood. We eat a bunch of junk food, and it's really fun. And I started to do these volumes for people who wanted to be a part of Saturday Morning Sleepover, but, they're strangers, and I'm not going to let them in my house. So this is the next best thing, and I do limited runs. Look at this. I mean, we're already up to volume 8.
Yeah.
No, 7. Volume 7 of these things.
Yeah.
So these are specific. These are packed to the brim with 80s and 90s.
An orgiastic feast of the senses.
Yes. Your childhood magic come to life. And you can also get these from me. You can write to me at warlockhomevideo@gmail.com. You can find us at Warlock Home Video on Instagram, Wellsville Nights on Instagram, Facebook, same shit. We're all there. But if you want to get any of this stuff, just write to me. I'll give you the prices and how you can order them.
And support
Wellsville Nights.
Yes.
Yes. We got some good stuff coming. So there we go.
So leave us some comments of your favorite 90s horror stuff, things that maybe we missed, or you hate our ideas, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, art is subjective.
Exactly.
So that's what's wonderful.
Let us know.
He loves Scream. I love Ticks. Never the twains shall meet. But it's awesome.
Yeah.
So let us know. If you like the video, please give us a like. It helps the algorithms.
Thank you.
If you leave a comment.
Yes.
It helps the algorithms. It's very odd.
It will get out there to more
think.
people.
Yeah, what
just
some
say,
people see.
Awesome. Thanks. Great.
Yeah. So
it helps.
Thank you. So there you go.